longer than we expected, and because of that, they actually have now extended the flood watch that most of us are under until 10 p.m. tonight. Now, this is what's going on currently with the rain. The good news is we are actually seeing a lot of these storms break apart. We have a lot less rainfall than what we saw just a few hours ago, but since we've had rainfall today, the ground is saturated. We still could potentially see more flooding since there's still rain going on. Now, all this green color that you're seeing, that's the flood watch. All of us are under that except for Milam and Fayette County. So if you're not in those counties, which is most of us, the rest of us, we are under that flood watch now until 10 p.m. just because as this rain keeps moving through, we could potentially still see some flash flooding. We also have a flood warning up in San Saba. That's specifically for San Saba River, just because that river now has hit flood stage levels. It's expected to go down. We'll talk about that. And we're still watching the flash flood warnings, but it does look like for Kerr County, that one has come to an end. So we don't actually have any current flash flood warnings in the area. And that's good news. But as I mentioned, we still could see more since there's still rain happening around the region. And for today, we got more than what we expected. A lot of us did stay under the inch mark, which is the blue color. But if you made it into the green, that means you did actually end up getting 1, even 2 inches in some areas. But what we're really concerned about is all the accumulation we've had since Thursday. So that's what this is. I just wanted to give you an idea of how much rainfall we've seen. You've seen a lot of purples and reds, that's 6, 7, 8 inches. But this gray zone here, this is estimated from the radar. We're talking 10 to even 15 inches in some of those spots. So we had a few areas that saw very intense heavy rainfall, and a lot of that happening within less than 24 hours. So this was just some of the numbers I wanted to throw up. So 20 inches here, 18 inches there, 12 inches there. So very, very high amounts. Now, I talked about the San Saba River. I told you that it's at flood stage levels. So this is where we're at actually right now. So it's actually not at a flood stage level yet. It's going to be. So this is the forecast. This is where it was. So it was a lot higher. At this point, though, it's expected to rise because they've been seeing a lot more rain up there. And so that's going to be the concern. It's going to go back into minor flooding. And then it does look like by the 10th, it should actually be going back down. The Colorado River, this is to the southeast of our area. It's expected to rise too into the action. So the flood stage level just barely as it continues to go up, and then it will quickly go back down. So there's a lot of things we're still concerned with, a lot of flooding we're still going to be talking about, that potential. And unfortunately, we still could see more rainfall as we head into the start of the work week. Now tonight it's expected to quiet down, but tomorrow we have small chances throughout the day. And that's kind of the case for everyone. So within these next few hours, we really are expecting things to quiet down, hence why that flood watch goes away at about 10 p.m. We'll be quiet overnight, but tomorrow we start to see those opportunities return off and on throughout the day. Now, small chances, but still isolated showers and maybe an isolated thunderstorm. It's going to last all the way into the evening possibly, and then overnight we do quiet down again. Now, those small chances will continue for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and then it looks like by Thursday, we're finally going to start to see more sunshine, and those rainfall opportunities get a lot lower. So how much rain is left? Now, for tonight, minimal amounts, but still, we really don't want to see any more just because we're so saturated already. But as I fast forward this all the way to Thursday, when we're expecting more of that sun to come back and to get a little bit drier, this is how much we could get up until that point. We really don't want anything. So when we're seeing an inch or more, that's a little concerning. So it's definitely going to be something we continue to focus on these next few days. And of course, it has brought more water to our lakes, which we like to see, but it's just been so much so fast. And we're seeing a really intense increase in some of these levels. So for Lake Buchanan, it's up 7 feet within the last 7 days, but Lake Travis is up almost 19 feet in the last 7 days. So that's something else that's been happening. In the percent full, 64%. Just a couple weeks ago, it was in the 40s. So we've really seen some drastic changes when it comes to that. But for tonight, we still could possibly see some rain. We've got shower and thunderstorm possibilities, mostly cloudy skies, 74 degrees for your low. And then tomorrow, again, that opportunity for some rain, partly sunny otherwise. And then it's just us focusing on Tuesday and Wednesday where we could see that rainfall. And then hopefully we really do start to see that sun come out and we can dry up and start to recover from all of this.
The fact that your graphics don't have a color for how much rain we experienced, I mean, that just shows you
spots. Yeah.
Off the key.
This was nuts.
It was a lot of rain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very crazy.
And I guess we can't stress enough that we're not out of this yet.
Right, even
And
just
that
a small
any
amount.
little bit of rain somewhere can be a real potential problem.
Exactly, just because we're so saturated already, we just don't want any more.
All right. Thanks, Leslie. Now, she was talking about the lake, so here is a look at Lake Travis right now. The water level, as mentioned, grown significantly in the past 48 hours. Before the weekend, the lake under 50% full. I think Leslie mentioned it was about 62% now. The LCRI projects the water level has risen about, as she mentioned, about 20 feet at Mansfield Dam. Lake Buchanan, as she noted, more than 7 feet up. Current projections show that Lake Buchanan expected to rise an additional 5 to 6 feet, and Lake Travis is expected to rise an additional 2 to 3 feet. The devastation in Kerrville has left many residents speechless.
Fox's Jonathan Mejia has an update from there.
The death toll number continues to rise as the city of Kerrville residents are demanding answers and becoming anxious. Officials are on their days-long search and recovery efforts.
This is the worst I've ever seen.
It's just crazy, you know? I've never seen nothing like this before. You know, just crazy, what can I say?
Longtime Kerrville residents left speechless after seeing the devastation that the catastrophic flood over the Guadalupe River left the hill country in central Texas with uprooted cypress trees and debris.
Lived here almost 67 years, and I've never seen a tree shredded like that. I mean, it just exploded. Some of them, it almost looked like.
The death toll continues to rise with each update officials provide. We learn more about how the local, state, and federal law enforcement agencies are working together as one.
There's over 400 first responders for more than 20 agencies that are working in Kerr County. We have more than a dozen canine working in and near the river. More than 100 air, water, and ground vehicles are in the field right now working on this search and rescue.
I've been praying for the workers because it's rough. I mean, one guy said he seen this guy running along the creek, had a rope, and there was a girl, he could see her face, and he kept trying to throw the rope out to pull her in, but it was so fast he couldn't get to her.
There are no words for the families who lost their loved ones or who may be unaccounted for, but the community is rallying behind them with their thoughts and prayers.
I know they're going to go through a dark time. I mean, everything just seems so dark right at first, but God eases that and brings you back.
Oh, just God, bring them peace and knowledge. Let them find their families. Or alive or dead, it'll put it to rest one way or the other.
Officials are urging residents to not conduct their own search and recovery efforts because it's hindering the official process. They have also implemented a no-fly zone permitting people to use personal drones. Reporting in Kerrville, Jonathan Mejia, Fox 26 News.
Neighborhoods north of Jonestown have been hit hard with floods, and they're sifting through the debris.
Fox 7 Austin's Katie Pratt has a look at what it's like near Nameless Road as rain was still falling this evening.
Hey guys, I'm in Leander, technically at the Travis County portion. We're along the big Sandy Creek where there's a ton of damage. So we're just gonna kind of walk you through and show you all of it. So right here you can see all of these trees piled up. So imagine that's where the water line was at one point. And this whole entire road was actually blocked off with debris. So this is a much better picture that we're giving you right now of all the damage. There's the guardrail on this side of the road, if you'll show them, Noel, that's all twisted up. There's the stop sign in the ditch that's crumbled up. And then if you look down at the ground, you can see that the concrete of this bridge is uprooted. They're telling me that it's actually shifted 8 inches. If you look even further this way, it's just crumbled up. And we come over here, and I mean, just the same thing. We got a big pothole right here where the water is already moving and rushing, coming through here. We've been talking with people all day, and their homes have actually surfed through the neighborhood. So they went from one side, we were looking at their back porch where the home used to be, and it surfed all the way across the road and over there. Over there you can see a car. It's crumbled up. I couldn't even tell what it was. I honestly thought that maybe it was a little camper or something. And we've got poles down, we've got homes that aren't where they're supposed to be. One woman said they've been trying to put up temporary fencing for her livestock. This entire road has been blocked off all day. We've seen people parking up and down on both sides of the street just trying to bring water and food to their loved ones and their family because no one can get to this neighborhood. You can see the stream is already picking up with the rain that's coming in right now. One woman I was talking to earlier, she was saying, you know, thank goodness it's so sunny, we can actually start getting some recovery done. And then, of course, this happens and it's lightning and picking up. There's been tons of people out here all day, you know, helping out. You can see the water there. They've kind of cleared out, though, because we are in a pretty dangerous spot right now with the rain picking up again. But yeah, we've been talking to people all day, and we're going to share those stories. They've been so thankful to have this coverage and just have people out here because they feel like they haven't gotten a lot of help. So I look forward to sharing those images and their stories with you guys. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and send it back to you and get out of this area. I'm reporting live in Leander. Katie Pratt, Fox 7 Austin News.
Stay with us. We will have continuing coverage when we come back.
We're learning tonight Williamson County has confirmed a second death from Saturday's flooding. The first victim was recovered late Saturday. They were 22-year-old Caitlin Swallow of Liberty Hill.
The remains of another person were recovered after a full day of searching. One more person is still missing in Williamson County. Crews are still evaluating roads that were damaged by floodwaters. In case you missed it this morning, they had a press conference, and here's what they told the public.
It's with a heavy heart that I can announce that Williamson County can confirm one death, and we still have 2 people missing. Our Sheriff Matt Lindeman will comment on those efforts in a minute. Right now our focus is on recovery and finding the 2 missing people. So we have hundreds of people over the last couple of days that have spent hundreds of man hours handling the storm and the rescue efforts. Yesterday, first responders conducted a total of 10 rescues missions and were able to save 27 people, including 16 from Hope House in Liberty Hill off County Road 285, who were evacuated by helicopter with assistance from Fort Hood and the Army. The county was also able to send out many messages, over 1,500 messages, and the county was very proactive in our known low spots, not only sending messages that the floodwaters were coming, but going door to door in an attempt to save life and property. Today, we are assessing damages. We are in recovery mode, and that is where we are going to focus our efforts. But at this time, I'd like to turn it over to the Williamson County Sheriff, Matt Lindeman.
Thank you, Judge. Good morning, everyone. I am Matt Lindeman, your Williamson County Sheriff. On the 4th of July, as you all know, they had tragic flooding in Kerr County. We sent part of our Williamson County Sheriff's Office Swift Water Rescue Team to Kerr County to assist in those rescues. And then early yesterday morning, about 1:50 a.m., calls started coming in to our emergency communications about water over the road at various locations out in the Liberty Hill area. We dispatched deputies to those areas, and there was flooding being experienced at that time. At 5:08 a.m., calls came in from the Rio Ancho subdivision, which is in far western Williamson County, of water coming into homes. We dispatched our remaining members of our Swift Water Rescue Team to that subdivision. 4 rescues were conducted at that subdivision. We had to recall our Swift Water Rescue Team that we had sent to Kerr County at that point because we realized we were going to have problems here in our own county. 6:58 a.m., an individual was reportedly swept away from a vehicle on FM 1869 west of Liberty Hill. 2 people in that vehicle had driven off into the water. The car was stalled. They both got out. One was swept away. We're still looking for that person today. At 7 a.m., right after daylight, we started going door to door in Williamson County east of Georgetown because we have a couple of RV parks there that are in low-lying areas. So we were going door to door to warn those people to get out immediately so that they would not become flood victims. Most of them did. However, one was rescued a little later in the day by Swift Water Rescue Teams from Parks and Wildlife and the Sheriff's Office. A number of pets were rescued there as well. That was Shady River RV Park on Highway 29 east of Georgetown. 2:06 p.m. We received another call of a vehicle being swept away from County Road 284 west of Liberty Hill. At this time, heavy rains were still coming down, a lot of high water. At about, about 4:41 p.m., fire crews located that vehicle. It was still partially submerged. They were able to search the interior of the vehicle and determine that no one was inside the car. The water was still around that vehicle, and it was too dangerous to look further in that area. Our deputies, along with Texas Highway Patrol and Parks and Wildlife, continue to check low water crossing areas throughout the county along the San Gabriel River, where we were experiencing severe flooding. And about 10:30 yesterday evening, communications received a call that a citizen had gone back to that partially submerged car. The water had receded and discovered there was a body trapped underneath that vehicle. That was the one that was in the area of County Road 284. Our deputies responded back to that area and helped with extricating that person from under that vehicle. So we'll continue our efforts all day today, and I'm sorry, that was our one confirmed fatality. Our efforts continue today with ground searches along the South San Gabriel River in the area of Liberty Hill, as well as a number of drone teams that have been deployed to try to find those 2 missing individuals. Our heartfelt sympathy goes out to all the people affected by this in Kerr County as well as here in Williamson County. We understand that families are out there desperately wanting to know about what's going on with their loved ones that are missing. We're working hard, and we will exhaust all the efforts to find your loved ones and get them back to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff. As we move into recovery, we're putting together our recovery plans and beginning our preliminary damage assessment. We encourage residents to report their damage to TDEM, TDEM, using the iStat tool at damage.tdem.texas.gov. County roads currently, Williamson County has 29 roads closed due to the flooding debris, and damage. Crews are out today reopening roads as water recedes and debris is removed. 6 roads have damage to the pavement, and crews are working today to open up those roadways. Specifically on County Road 279, there's 2 spots between Leander and Liberty Hill that crews are working on today to get those roads passable and open. We have 5 other county roads with damage. County Roads 257, County Road 236, County Road 207, 200, and 126. And the county will respond and get those as soon as possible. I also want to thank our first responders who went out to rescue individuals during the flooding and are now working on those recovery missions. The sheriff mentioned, and I want to specifically thank our swift water rescue teams. That's one of the most dangerous way for first responders to rescue and recover bodies. Very proud that our county answered the call to go assist in Kerr County, but at the time, the next morning, they had to come and assist with Williamson County. And so they put in many man hours and are thankful for that. Also want to thank the cities in their response to the emergency as well. The city of Leander sent Swift Water Rescue to assist in Liberty Hill, and we are grateful for that. Sheriff's Office, EMS, Fire Marshal, and I also want to thank the Texas Parks and Wildlife. They not only assisted in the rescue, but they came in at shift change and provided some much needed relief from our workers who had put in a 24-hour shift. I want to thank the United States Army in Fort Hood, who used a helicopter, as I mentioned earlier, to rescue children from Hope House. The cities of Georgetown have done great as well. I know they sent city workers down. There's some homeless camps in the river to get them to safe ground and let them know that the waters were rising. I know the city of Georgetown, partially in Georgetown, is still under a water boil notice as well. A lot of people are calling and asking how they can help. We have a tremendous community that is always very charitable. So we are asking that you wait, pause momentarily as we assess the needs and the damage in the community so we can coordinate our efforts where they're needed the most. But they will be on our website. That's wilcotx.gov. What I do know right now is that Williamson County is a very resilient community. We have excellent first responders and EMS. We are also a community of faith, and Governor Abbott has declared today a day of prayer, and I definitely encourage our community to join in prayer, pray for the lives lost, pray for the families left behind, and pray for our community who's suffering right now. Not only Williamson County, but across the state of Texas. Thank you. Any questions? Yes.
Hi, I have a question as far as the unaccounted or missing folks. You say there's 2. I've been chatting with folks in the Sandy Creek area near Leander, and I understand part of that 78641 zip code goes into Travis County, I believe part of it, but the majority of it is in Leander. They say they still have multiple people missing, families that have not been able to get in contact with residents of that area. I'm curious, have y'all been working with those folks in that area that were also hit by flooding?
I'll let the sheriff answer that question. I know just the information we just have the 2 missing. I know there's lots of rumors circulating around as well, but I'll let the sheriff answer specific to missing persons.
I believe most of that Sandy Creek area is in Travis County, so Travis County Sheriff's Office would be working
So it'd be on the Travis County?
That's correct.
Unaccounted?
Yes.
Okay. Even in the Leander city?
Even though it says Leander,
okay.
That Sandy Creek area is largely Travis County.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Thank you. Yes?
Do you think your evacuation response was early enough to save lives?
So I will introduce y'all to Bill Zito. He's our Director of Emergency Services in the county to talk about the proactive things that the county did and the efforts we took to save as many lives as possible in our ongoing recovery efforts.
So yeah, Bill Zito, Senior Director and Chief of Emergency Services for Williamson County. To your point, I think yes. I think we took as proactive approach as we could once we realized and knew the flooding levels were going to be as dangerous as they were. We immediately started looking at our low-lying areas and proactively started sending messages. As the sheriff and the mayor, or the judge explained, we had folks go out door to door, and you can't get everybody, right? You try, you message, you go out, you try to communicate face to face, but you're always going to have that one person or two people that take that risk and drive through that, that rushing water that they shouldn't. It's unfortunate, and we're sad to lose people, but I do believe the county as a whole did a fantastic job, and we have minimal lives lost because of it. So,
to that effort, the county and many counties have similar efforts where they can draw a geographic map around an area and send those emergency messages not only to residents but anyone driving through that area. It becomes more and more difficult at night. People driving through water they might not see, but the efforts of using technology proactively to get the word out, I think, saved many lives. And then the fact that our people went door to door, as Bill Zito and the sheriff mentioned, saved lives and property.
Well, like how it was kind of hard to pinpoint where all the heavy rain and the flooding was going to be in Kerr County, did you guys have a similar issue with, determining where the water was going to hit or anything like that?
I don't know if either one of y'all, yeah.
Realistically, we look at flood models, we look at historical flooding, and we kind of know our county vulnerable areas. We've had, again, like 2017, we've had other major flooding events in this area that we know pretty much where we need to go right away. The sheriff and deputies, they're out there every day. They know what's going to flood. So we're able to kind of predict a little bit ahead of time. You can't predict everything. You don't know exactly how much rain you're going to get. And I believe we had like 9 inches drop over Liberty Hill. But, in terms of being able to at least have a sense of where the vulnerable areas are and proactively get out there, we were able to do that.
If someone does want to report someone missing, is there a number that they can call?
So they should call 911, or they can call the non-emergency number to 911 and report that, right? And so also, some of these folks that we know were missing, right, were initial call-ins that as we try to rescue or try to make contact getting back to them, if we did not hear a response from them, then we would continue to look for that person, right?
Mm-hmm.
So.
All right, very good.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
You have been watching the latest update from Williamson County.
We'll have much more coverage on the flooding around Central Texas when we come back.
Welcome back. At last check, the death toll was around 70 for Central Texas, from the Austin area over to Kerrville.
Yeah, one of those victims was co-owner and director of Camp Mystic in Kerr County, Dick Eastland passed away on July 4th while saving girls attending the camp from flooding. Dick and his wife have been at Camp Mystic for about 50 years. According to the camp website, the camp has been a part of their family for almost 90 years. Camp Mystic is a private Christian girls-only camp near the Guadalupe River in Hunt, Texas.
Kerr County Sheriff says at least 21 children from Camp Mystic are among the dozens of victims. Authorities still have not said how many people were missing beyond the 11 children and a camp counselor from that summer camp. Families were allowed to look around the camp this morning. Families from all over Texas had children there, and they continue to search for their loved ones.
The Brake family from Burleson tells us Joni and Robert Brake are still unaccounted for. They were last seen at an RV park in Ingram. On Friday morning, floodwaters washed away several RVs that were lined up near the Guadalupe River. Videos have shown the RVs bobbing in the river and being washed away. The owner of the park says people staying closer to the river had no time to leave.
Governor Abbott has declared today, July 6th, as a day of prayer. Abbott said, quote, Texans are known for their faith, strength, and resilience. Even as floodwaters raged, neighbors rushed in to rescue, comfort, and bring hope. In times of loss, we turn to God for comfort, healing, and strength. I urge every Texan to join me in prayer this Sunday for the lives lost, for those still missing, and for the recovery of our communities, and for the safety of those on the front lines, end quote.
Support for the victims, survivors, and rescue and recovery efforts continue to ramp up across the Lone Star State. The Dallas Cowboys are helping out with donations to the Salvation Army. The team said in a statement, "Our hearts are heavy as we witness the devastation and loss of lives caused by the floods in Kerr County and the Texas Hill Country, especially for the young girls and their families, as well as all of those who lost their loved ones."
And one way people have been showing support across the state is green ribbons. People have been tying green ribbons around trees to honor those who are still missing or who have passed in the floods. Green is the color of Camp Mystic. Buildings in Dallas and Houston also have lit up green.
Texans all over have been looking for ways to donate and provide support for those impacted by floods. Here's a quick look at some of the ways to help. The Community Foundation has launched the Kerr County Flood Relief Fund. All donations will go right to the organizations helping with the emergency. The Red Cross has opened shelters in Kerrville. You can donate to the Red Cross on redcross.org. We have more ways to help out on our website, fox7austin.com. The flooding has left a path of destruction along Nameless Road in northwest Travis County.
Fox 7 Austin's Katie Pratt is joining us there live with more tonight. Katie.
Hey guys, so I'm standing along Sandy Creek in the Leander neighborhood, but we're still in Travis County. You can hear the water rushing. So earlier whenever I was talking to y'all, the rain just started pouring down, and I just want to show y'all some of the debris over here and how high it is. This is several feet above me, obviously, and then that just shows you how high the water actually got. It's up over the bridge. There's all sorts of things tangled in here. I even see an ice chest, there's piping, all sorts of stuff. And they've actually even cleared a lot of the bridge off. All of this was over the bridge. And then right here, not sure if you can see it quite clearly, but this is a huge piece of concrete. That's actually the road from up over there that was ripped off and is sitting here. So yeah, I mean, that rain definitely didn't help us earlier. It's only created more flooding. As we were even just trying to get out of here, the roads were rushing water over top. You always hear, turn around, don't drown. But whenever you're actually in that situation of, you know, what do I do? How do I get out of here? It makes you realize just how serious this is and just how serious it all can come back. So hopefully this area gets a little bit of relief from the rain, because man, it's been a lot out here. But I'm gonna go ahead and send it back to you. I'm reporting live in Leander. Katie Pratt, Fox 7 Austin News.
So Katie, when we caught up with you earlier, it was raining when you were on that roadway showing us the damage and the devastation. Did that rain make a difference to the river that's moving behind you? Did it go up or any change at all?
Yeah, so earlier it was actually pretty still. Now, I mean, you could probably hear it. It's rushing. People were saying, get off of the bridge, which is where we were going live from earlier, because it's shifted 8 inches just from that initial flooding. A lot of roads just, I mean, you would be surprised, like feet of water just rushing over them. So yeah, I think it has definitely made a difference. People here were certainly scared. They say that this isn't the first time they've seen bad flooding through here with this bridge. They've actually had to redo this bridge several times. I'm actually going to catch up with someone who has had more history about it. He'd lived here for a while and can tell me a little bit more background about that. So yeah, it's not their first time, but they've certainly never seen anything like this.
Okay, Katie Pratt reporting live for us. Thanks very much. Continuing our coverage of these devastating floods across Texas.
Yeah, if you missed it earlier, here's the latest update on the damage in Kerrville.
Constantly about volunteers. You know, we got volunteers, we got this. This is a perfect example where this could hinder us. We are pulling our assets out of there right now to be safe. We'll determine when it's safe again to put them back in there. But this is one time we wouldn't be able to contact all these volunteers and get them out of there. So please understand that and please pass that message. We have a ton of resources here. I can make a phone call and get a ton more here. We have all the resources, all the equipment, all the manpower, all the food we need, okay? Please help me pass that message on. We do have it under control. So now as we get into my notes, search and rescue operations continue with a full response from local, state, and national first responders. We continue to have hundreds of officers, deputies, and to support our staff working every aspect of this emergency along with air, water, canine, and other assets conducting search and rescue. As of 1:30, we have recorded 68 deceased in Kerr County. Among those who are deceased, we have 40 adults and 28 children. 18 adults are pending identification and 18 adults are pending identification and 10 children are also pending identification. Once again, pending identification are 18 adults and 10 children. At present, there are 10 Camp Mystic campers unaccounted for and 1 counselor. We continue to offer our condolences to those affected, and we will work tirelessly till we reunite them with their families. We know there are many people concerned that are affected by this tragic situation. Please be careful about social media rumors and misinformation. False information can cause pain to families and those already devastated by this event. Please follow the Kerrville Police Department, our Kerr County Sheriff's Office Facebook for verified information. Please do that. All of our information put out is verified. Please note that Highway 39 west of Ingram is closed to the public. We are closing that for temporary. That is only for law enforcement resources right now. We had some issues with public out there parking on the road. We can't get by going through stuff. Highway 39 is closed to the public. Our missing phone call center is open to those reporting missing loved ones. The phone number for that is 830-258-1111. That's the same number we've had, 830-258-1111. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to Dalton Rice.
Thank you, Sheriff. Again, welcome. We appreciate your patience. Obviously, we want to make sure that we have the safety of our responders, at the forefront of this, so we can continue to do search and rescue operations. First and foremost, our hearts are with the families and loved ones affected by this heartbreaking tragedy. Our entire focus at this time is on the search and reunification efforts for those remained unaccounted for. That is where our energy, our resources, and our attention are directed. Nothing is more important than bringing comfort and clarity to those who are waiting and grieving. We know questions are being asked about the emergency notification, and while it is not the time to speculate, local and regional partners are committed to a full review of the events and systems in place. At the appropriate time, we will take clear steps to strengthen our future preparedness. We owe that commitment to the families who are suffering and to every member of our community. We know many in our community are beginning the cleanup process and figuring out what's needed, whether it's clothes, toothbrushes, other essentials, or cleaning supplies. The City of Kerrville is coordinating with our regional and state partners, State Health and Human Services Commission, the Department of State Health Services Public Health Region 8, and Texas Division of Emergency Management are working to set up a family assistance care center where flood survivors can have the ability to access these supplies. We'll share more details as soon as they're available, and with that, I'll bring up Mayor Herring for information on how you can donate now.
Thank you for being here. I'm Joe Herring, Jr., Mayor of the City of Kerrville. Our work continues. Trained experts and professionals from the City of Kerrville, from Kerr County, from state agencies and federal agencies are all working together with one goal. That is to find, to rescue those in peril and find those who are missing. I repeat what I said this morning. Even though different groups and different agencies are involved in the Emergency Operations Center, we are all working as one team. We want to achieve our goal of helping those who've been affected by this flood. Today I learned that another helping hand has joined the fray. HEB is setting up a mobile kitchen in Ingram. And when that kitchen is set up, it will be able to feed a lot of hungry people in the Hunt and Ingram area. If you want more information about that, just go to heb.com, /newsroom. Countless other local businesses are stepping up, they are finding needs, and they are meeting them. Now, how can you help? If you would like to make a financial donation, we recommend that you go to the Community Foundation of the Texas Hill Country. They have set up a portal to receive donations. That would be communityfoundation.net. People across our community, across our state, across the world have been responding to that request. If you would like to volunteer, the city has set up a partnership with our local Kerrville Salvation Army at the Kroc Center. The number to call to register to help or to donate is 830-465-4797. And when I say donate, in-kind donations. For full updates, verified updates, please follow the City of Kerrville Facebook page. Under Facebook, it's called City of Kerrville-City Hall. Finally, as I've said every time I've been before you, please pray for our community. I believe in prayer, and prayers have been answered. Thank you. And now Dalton Rice will come back up.
All right, at this time, we'll take 4 questions. Tammy Prout with Hill Country.
Yes, can you tell me, we talked a lot about the bad things, recovery, but how many rescues are you at? And of the kids that were in the camps that you couldn't get to, that were safe that you couldn't get to, are they all evacuated?
I'm actually going to turn that one over to the sheriff, if that's okay. You have those numbers a little bit better.
Sorry, Tammy. Again, please.
So how many rescues? You were at 850 a couple days ago, and then we had the camps that you couldn't get to the campers, and they were going to be evacuated. I suspect they're all gone, but have you gotten them all out?
Yeah, included in that 850 that we put out is the campers. All the campers are out and safe. A lot of them have been reunited at this time. Yes, ma'am.
Sorry. No. Leslie McClure.
Ingram Dam. You guys got any updates on the Ingram Dam?
We have no updates on Ingram Dam at this time. Amanda Henderson, KHOU.
I'm with CBS News, and she stepped up for a story, but we talked to several people in this community who say they got no emergency alerts whatsoever. Governor Abbott, in his press release, just placed the responsibility on the local agencies. So I know you're focusing on victims right now, but yes or no, did local agencies send out any emergency alerts, blares, sirens of any kind?
No, I know you guys keep asking this question. We appreciate it. We think it's important. We don't want to speculate. At this time, we know there's a lot of speculation and question around it. Again, there's going to be a full review, of this so we can make sure that we focus on future preparedness. We want to continue to focus on the families at this time, and so we're getting through that. So thank you. Leah Waldman, CNN. Okay.
With focus on families here, we know that there was a National Weather Service alert issued on Thursday afternoon talking about these flood watches and issuing Kerr County as a high-risk area overnight. Why not preemptively evacuate these camps? You said earlier that was a good question. Maybe it's one that needs to be answered.
Yeah, no, again, it is still a great question. And when you looked at the National Weather Service notification, when you look at that map showed Kerr County kind of in the northeast corner, and that spread all the way through San Angelo. So there's a lot of information. That's a wide area that must be addressed. And so as we were, preparing for it, unfortunately, the rain hit at the most inopportune time, and right in the most inopportune areas where the North and South Fork hit. It converged, and so here we are. So again, we want to continue to focus on those rescue operations, and at that, we're not taking any more questions. Thank you.
Thank you. That's going to do it for this afternoon. You've been watching the latest update from Kerrville.
We will have more coverage on the flooding around Central Texas when we come back. Continuing our coverage of the devastating floods across Central Texas.
If you missed it earlier, here's the latest update on the damage in northwest Travis County.
Good morning. Thanks, y'all, for being here. My name is Andy Brown. I'm the Travis County judge. Over the past 48 hours, Travis County experienced an extremely deadly and destructive flood event. I want to start by thanking the first responders, dispatchers, road crews, utility workers, and volunteers, and people, citizens, residents, who have exercised extraordinary bravery over these past 48 hours. You've saved countless lives, sustained hope in the darkest moments, and will continue to do so in big and small ways over the days and weeks ahead. For all the people and communities that are impacted, we stand with you and are doing all that we can to support you. I want to thank the National Weather Service for sending out alerts before, during, and now after the bulk of the storm. Heavy rains fell across the region, especially in northwestern Travis County, triggering widespread flash flooding largely along Sandy Creek and Cow Creek, starting sometime around midnight on Friday, building throughout the night into the morning. This led to homes, cars, and people being washed away. I spoke just this morning with folks. I went out to visit ESD 1 and the other ESDs that are helping them out there out near Nameless Road along Sandy Creek. They showed me the people there. The firefighters showed me multiple houses, trailers largely that had been washed away, just simply pieces of them down the creek, cars along with them down the creek. I met four guys that lived sort of across the creek. There were about 10 trailer homes there. They all survived, but they had a very scary night where water was coming into their trailers, and they didn't have a way a way to get out. Their cars also had been washed away. They were in a tough situation. They told me that they received alerts about 12 noon before this all started, about midnight, and then alerts throughout the night as well from the National Weather Service. I spoke with ESD1 firefighters who helped evacuate people from the second floor of a house. The first floor was full of water. People were in the second floor. They helped them evacuate. I think that story repeats over and over the hard work of these first responders over the last couple of days. By Saturday afternoon, we had confirmed the deaths of 4 individuals. I think you'll hear more about that from others due to this event. 1 person in the Briarcliff area, 3 additional fatalities that ESD1, I believe, responded to in that area. There were 3 separate incidents, I think. Search and rescue operations are still going on this morning. The team at 8 I joined them at their 8 a.m. briefing this morning, where they divided up where they were going to be walking, largely along Sandy Creek, to look for folks up and down the creek. It's about, my understanding, it's about 18 miles of creek between the top and where it hits the lake. Austin Travis County EMS, you'll hear from them today. They responded to dozens of water rescues, most of them concentrated in western portions of the county near Cow Creek and FM 1431, where, again, mobile homes were swept away and residents were forced to deal with rising waters in the middle of the night. In response, I signed a local disaster declaration for Travis County on Saturday morning. My understanding is the governor has also added Travis County to his declaration of the disaster and has asked the federal government for assistance for this area as well. This helps us to activate mutual aid resources, coordinate with the state and federal partners, and accelerate emergency response and recovery efforts. We also launched a countywide emergency response operation that included activation of ESD1 and an EOC out there, deployment of medical and mental health response teams, and establishing a reunification center for families searching for missing loved ones. At the height of the storm, the National Weather Service issued additional flash flood emergency warnings for portions of Travis, Williamson, and Burnett counties, including the I-35 corridor. Some areas received over a foot of rainfall in a matter of hours. Low water crossings were quickly overwhelmed, and floodwaters caused extensive damage to roads, bridges, and homes, particularly in the western region of Travis County. And then late on Saturday afternoon, Travis County received an alert from the LCRA, the Lower Colorado River Authority, that flood operations had begun at Tom Miller Dam on Lake Austin. So they opened floodgates to manage upstream inflows and advised downstream residents to take immediate precautions as flows increased significantly and water levels rose rapidly along the Colorado. This action was necessary to preserve structural safety and reduce upstream flooding, and added, of course, to the complexity of what everybody was dealing with downstream. Travis County worked alongside the Texas Department of Emergency Management. We've got Cody here today from TDEM, who has provided us lots of support and been a great partner in this, as well as working with surrounding Central Texas counties that also face dangerous flooding, evacuation orders, and ongoing water rescues. As for the catastrophic floods in Kerr County, Travis County is proud to have served as part of the coordinated effort that included Texas DPS, Texas Parks and Wildlife, Texas Task Force 1 Hilo Group, the Texas Military Department, and the U.S. Coast Guard, and of course TDEM. We deployed a Starflight helicopter with 1 pilot, 1 nurse, and 1 paramedic that completed 6 missions and 2 hoist rescues, moved 9 patients to a collection point, all in over about 4.5 flight hours. Throughout all of this, our first responders, dispatchers, road crews, utility workers, and volunteers exercised extraordinary bravery. I cannot thank this group of folks for their courage enough and for their quick actions. As we move forward, I want to reiterate that this disaster is not over. While floodwaters seem to be receding in many areas, the rain seems to be slowing down. Damage assessments, debris removal, and recovery operations will still take days and weeks. And we're still, I believe, under a flash flood watch until 7 p.m. today. So just, the same things we always urge folks: never drive into a low water crossing, especially during a storm. This had catastrophic consequences, I think, for some people in Travis County, and it's just something that you should never do still to this hour. Listen to your phone alerts. Make sure that you have an evacuation plan, especially if you live near a creek, even if it's dry, and use it use that plan if the National Weather Service or others recommend to evacuate. Stay away from flood-damaged areas today and tomorrow unless authorized to return. Report hazardous conditions or missing persons to our emergency hotline. And continue to monitor Travis County social media and emergency websites for shelter information, aid registration, and road closures. You can find up-to-date information at traviscountytx.gov/emergency, including recovery resources. So we've been through a lot the last few days, but we're Travis County, and we're going to get through this together. We are committed to doing everything possible to protect lives, help families recover, and rebuild stronger than before. And I'm going to pass it on now to the Sheriff, Sally Hernandez. Sheriff?
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Sally Hernandez, Travis County Sheriff. People in our community have been utterly devastated by this sudden, unexpected flooding that took place. My heart goes out to each and every one who has suffered such great loss. As flash floods hit on July the 5th, our 911 call center experienced a surge in calls. The timing of those calls paint a picture of when floodwaters hit the affected communities. At 1 a.m., TCSO dispatchers received 49 calls, and by 3 a.m., that number spiked to 112. Flood-related calls continued to come in steadily for hours after that. We were fully staffed for the 4th of July weekend, so we pivoted those resources, our patrol deputies, to respond to the 911 calls. Floodwaters rose so quickly that roadway access to many of those callers were completely cut off. Deputies assisted with rescue efforts throughout the early morning hours. As daylight came and devastation became very painfully evident, we continued rescue efforts, and our special response team went door to door checking on the welfare of all of those 911 callers that called in during the overnight hours. Unfortunately, our agency also assisted with recovery missions. Today, we're continuing our search and rescue efforts, and one of our lake patrol boats is out with Parks and Wildlife searching the Cow Creek area, which is only accessible by water at this time because of the roadways have been washed away. Our special response team, along with the Travis County Parks, are assigned to barricade roadways to keep people from driving into unsafe areas and to help prevent looting. Our drone team is in the Sandy Creek area today, assisting with search and rescue efforts. FM 1431 and Singleton Bend West toward Burnett County is blocked to the damaged roadways. Juniper Trail is impassable due to road damage, and Nameless Road is damaged but is passable through Terra Vista. I'm grateful for everyone that you see up here and their roles that they have played in trying to help our community. But what I'm more grateful for is the way that our community comes together and helps each other get through these really hard times. Thank you so much.
Eric?
Yeah, good morning. I'm Eric Carter. I'm the Chief Emergency Management Coordinator for Travis County. Again, I'm like the judge. It's okay. Hats off to the first responder agencies out at the Emergency Service District 1 and all across the county. They really stepped up in what is a no-notice holiday weekend to respond to a very critical incident. Of course, we're all thinking about the folks in Kerr County, but as we know locally, we also had some loss of life. So hats off to those folks, and again, our hearts are going out to them. From the Emergency Operations Center and here, the emergency management team, our sole focus in the first 24 to 48 hours is support to our first responders. Sheriff Hernandez was eloquent in telling you how she and the team have responded from the law enforcement side. Also, our public works team working hard, and we've got some folks here along with our parks folks and our transportation and natural resources department. working yeoman's hours, doing everything from road safety issues, road closures, all the way to, again, search and rescue. So that's been our initial focus. While they'll continue that focus in the field at the ESD out in Lago Vista, we expect here we're going to be making our transition over to the recovery. We're getting to where we're going to get that incident stabilized. Now we're going to be moving into recovery. So right now, one of the initial needs folks need to understand. If people are out there and they want to know how to help, if you're a victim and you need immediate assistance, we want to encourage you to call the Red Cross. Red Cross is here with us today. They can help you with immediate needs. By later this afternoon, we'll be putting out additional resources. Red Cross will make sure that you are sheltered, that you have an immediate ability to cover first in food, clothing, if you lost those things in flash flooding. We know there will be other needs. We've got a great team of volunteer agencies and community partners that are gathering here at the EOC, and we're going to look at other resources we can put out for the community. We expect our response to move from here to more out in the Lago Vista area. That's where the impact is. That's not to ignore what was going on in the Briar Cliff and other parts of the county, but we know just from the reports we received, the bulk of the impact is out in the Lago Vista ESD1 region. So that's where we'll be in the upcoming days. As I told the team, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. We've got to work through this over time. Our goal is to pace ourselves and do our jobs. So we're going to keep doing that. I'll let these folks here give you the highlights of their response. I don't even want to step over that, but they'll keep at it and we'll keep at it. So thank you. Who? Chief. Thank you. Chief. Excuse me, sir.
Good morning. Rob Lukritz, Chief of Austin Travis County EMS. As was mentioned earlier, our hearts go out to everyone that was affected by this tragic event. From an Austin Travis County EMS perspective, in the early hours of Saturday morning, we received numerous 911 calls reporting individuals who were experiencing severe flooding requiring evacuation. Our teams, in collaboration with the Emergency Services District, deployed numerous resources. Austin Travis County EMS deployed 2 boat teams, as well as supervisory assets to assist in the command center, both in Travis County, in Lago Vista, as well as in Burnett County. We also dispatched several ambulances. In total, 25 individuals were rescued by our teams, and 4 of those were transported with non-life-threatening emergencies to local healthcare facilities. Our teams continue to work throughout the day to assist in the rescue efforts. In addition to our efforts here in Travis County, we continue to have assets deployed in Kerrville, in Kerr County, where we have an ambulance bus as well as a boat team deployed from our agency. In addition, our community health paramedics also assisted with the Emergency Family Assistance Center, which I believe was in Leander. It's moved a couple times, to assist in the care for those families that were affected. And with that, I'll turn it over back to Judge Brown.
We'll open up for questions.
Okay.
So we know that 4 are confirmed deceased. How many do we have missing right now?
So based on talking to the ESD this morning at the meeting that they had at 8 a.m., they suspect there's somewhere between 11 and 13, but those are largely unconfirmed. It's like they talked to somebody who said, we heard that this person is missing. There's one person that they told me about that they firsthand know is missing still. In talking to other people that live out there this morning, they pointed, to a car that they thought people were in that I could see, a quarter mile down the river. And so there are still people missing. We do not know exactly how many. I know firsthand that there was that one person confirmed missing by the ESDs.
Stacey.
Judge Brown, you talked a little bit about the notifications that some people in Western Travis County got. Could you talk more about what kinds of warnings people received and whether any of this death was preventable?
Yeah, so I can tell you what I have heard that people have received, and then, I don't know, Cody or anybody else, if y'all want to come up, please do. My understanding is that there was an alert from the National Weather Service sometime around noon on Friday. Then there was another one sometime around midnight. And then there was one somewhere around 4:30 a.m. as well. And then they continued on after that. Does anyone,
I'll add in.
You want to add in? Okay.
And the judge pretty much summarized it. All through the night, the team was both monitoring here and pushing. The Weather Service was very proactive in their warnings. We even called them a couple of times and said, we see problems, can you issue a warning? And they did those warnings. So from a notification using the integrated public alert and warning system, those things that were firing off your phones, we were getting the message out. So very happy with that. The question of preventability, that can't be answered today, in the sense that the team is out there still doing the search and rescue and the recovery and the circumstances why any one individual would have found themselves in a tragic circumstance. We can't know that today, but I appreciate the question.
I know that we had mentioned that this was somewhat unpredictable, this came unexpectedly, but we do know that at least our meteorologists were forecasting that flash flooding could come in the northwest area of Austin. We know that this happened in creek areas. How predictable was this actually? Did this really sneak up on you? Is there anything that we could have done to protect human life?
I think the best thing that we can do is send those alerts out. That iPod system is very effective. It gets, my understanding of the technology,
Very targeted, yep.
If your cell phone is in that area, you get an alert. It's not like Warren Central Texas where you have to sign up for it. Some people get it, maybe some people don't. That is a very robust system, and my understanding is that the National Weather Service gave people many warnings, and obviously your news station did as well.
Next question. Follow-up.
Follow-up. Was for people that were deceased, did they originate from a home or a vehicle?
Talking to the ESD this morning, they don't know where they originated from. My understanding is that at least 3 of those people they thought separate incidents in different areas, but they don't know the circumstances of how they got there.
Right here. Did you have any communication from the governor's office in the preceding days to the storm?
In the preceding days, I did not, no.
Judge, just to be clear, and we do have TDM here. TDM regularly, when there's any weather system, and Cody, please jump in if you need to, regularly holds statewide conference calls to all jurisdictions to make people aware of the risk of a given weather system. As we approach that weekend, the risk for this area was really down to the south, and ultimately the people down in Kerrville, unfortunately, they got it, and that's where that focus was. This system just began to turn, and they are continuing their statewide conference calls, but they did everything they could to make sure all the areas, counties in Texas were aware of the system. Cody, you want to add anything to that?
No, that's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and just so you said governor's office. I did talk to Cody on Friday. He's with TDM. I did also talk with the governor's office as we're more into the storm. Checked in with the governor's chief of staff. Yes.
Were there any evacuations held in Travis County?
There were evacuations, and ESD, do you want to talk about any of that? I know they told me this morning about people who were evacuated off of their roofs, things like that. Do you want to comment a little bit?
I can try. Michael Anderson, representing the Travis County Emergency Services Districts. When the event started to occur in the early morning hours, the agencies were called for dispatching. For the rescues, for the immediate calls and needs. It's my understanding that the ESD1 area, the Lago Vista, Jonestown area, while they were also performing rescues, they worked to get notifications for evacuations. But most of their efforts were on the actual needs for the rescues. Any other further than that, I can't speak to that right now.
We're going to do last question here and follow it up right there.
Last question for me. I appreciate y'all's time and providing us these updates. We know that Travis County is one of the biggest counties in Texas. I want to ask, why did this press conference come hours after we know that the fatalities happened in our county?
I think we released them as they are happening, is my understanding. Our main focus is on the actual, helping people who are out there in the floodwaters, and so I think that was the biggest effort that we've all been working on. Chief Bailey from ESD 11 was the incident commander out around ESD 1, and so we had these folks out there and making sure that they had the resources that they need, of course. And then my understanding is that Hector and others were in communications with the press about details.
I just wanted to ask how many rescues there were, and if you could talk any more about it.
Yeah, so I heard from the ESDs this morning that they thought there were about 50 rescues, EMS. Does that sound about right? So I think they pointed at what's the name of that boat? The little inflatable boat? Zodiac. The Zodiac boat. They talked about rescuing folks using the Zodiac boat out there along Sandy Creek and along Cow Creek. They also helped people by foot leave their houses when the water was coming up. They assisted people to get out that way. So there were water rescues, there were land rescues. And I want to give an additional shout out to TDEM so there was the initial stage of water rescues, people responding to 911 calls, asking for help that way. I think it was Saturday. My understanding is that TDEM sent 2 teams. I think it was about 16 people total to add to about 20 or so people on our end to do additional search to help with rescues up and down the creek on Saturday. So that was sort of a land-based rescue effort. But so there was water and land-based, and then, yeah.
All right, folks, thank you all. If you all have any follow-up, please let me know.
One thing, Hector.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to publicize the Red Cross number.
Oh, go ahead.
So, folks, I'm Chuck Brotherton. I'm the County Executive for Emergency Services. We do have the Red Cross represented here with Mr. Pierre Wynn. Appreciate y'all being here. We have established a hotline for people to call, people who have been impacted by the flooding, people who are searching for loved ones who they may not be able to reach. The number is 1-800-RED-CROSS, REDCROS. The number is 733-2767. That's 800-733-2767. The Red Cross hotline, that is a national hotline. They will take your information. They will get a contact number for you. They will refer the call to local Red Cross here in Travis County, and those folks will get back to you to assess your needs and do everything they can to help.
Talk about damage.
Yeah, please.
Cody McDonald, Texas Division of Emergency Management, District Chief. We just want to encourage everyone that was impacted by this, if they have any damages to their homes, to submit those damages to damages.tdem.texas.gov. That helps us get a track of how many damages, how many homes are damaged, what those property values look like, so we can submit that for potential assistance. So again, damages.tdem.texas.gov. If you'd please submit your damages to us. Thank you.
And one last thing. So there is a lot of debris in the water, in creeks, of course, that, a week ago weren't a creek. And then there also is a lot of debris in Lake Travis, Lake Austin. Please do not go in a boat or swimming in Lake Travis. Give us a couple of days at least, and until further notice, really, to make sure that debris goes away. So there should be no recreational boating in Lake Travis or Lake Austin or any of the other lakes right now, because there's a ton of debris, ton of hazards in there, and we want to make sure that people who are trying to engage in recovery efforts are not hampered by people trying to recreate in the lakes right now.
Great. All right.
Thank you.
All. Please let me know if you all have.
You've been watching the latest update from Travis County.
We're going to have much more coverage on the flooding around Central Texas when we come back. Welcome back for this special coverage of the Texas floods on Fox Local. Here's what we know so far. The overall death toll in Central Texas has risen to 79.
For the all-girls summer camp in Kerr County, there's at least 10 campers still missing. This is aerial video of the Guadalupe River near Kerrville earlier today. Fox News crews have been out there reporting all day, and some have needed to evacuate certain areas due to more rain. Families have been searching through the debris in empty cabins at Camp Mystic. Governor Abbott says there were 41 people unaccounted for across the state, and more could be missing. In Kerr County, first responders have found 68 bodies, including 28 children.
11 other deaths have been reported in Travis, Burnett, Kendall, Tom Green, and Williamson counties. The death toll expected to rise as search teams continue working over the next few days. Texas DPS has pledged to keep searching until everybody is found from these flash floods. Now let's get to meteorologist Leslie London with the latest on the forecast. Leslie.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Dennis. We are still talking about rainfall coming down. We actually thought just a few hours ago that we should be quiet at this point. So model's a little bit off timing-wise, but you can see this is backing up the last hour. We are seeing a lot of it breaking apart, and it is much quieter than what it was earlier this afternoon. No, a lot of us not seeing anything at this point, but we do actually still have a little bit of a storm system going on just kind of south of Bastrop here. I'll take you in so you can see it, but rainfall getting less intense. It was heavier before where we were seeing that red, that blue color. Now it's going down. That's good news. And we're not seeing any flash flood warnings in our area currently, but I did want to show you there's a flash flood warning for Bexar, Comal, and Guadalupe County. They had some pretty strong storms not too long ago. That's breaking apart, but that warning lasts until 11:30. As for us, most of us actually are still under a flood watch. Now that got extended. It was expected to end at 7 p.m. and now they're saying 10 p.m. just because, as I showed you, we still have rain going on in the area and we still kind of have to keep our eyes open in case we do see more flooding concerns. I also highlighted here, you can see these kind of brighter green areas. These are flood warnings, but specifically for some rivers, which I'm going to talk about in a second, giving you a little more details on that. For today, we actually got a decent amount of rain in some spots. If you're in the green color, it means you actually did see an inch, maybe even 2 inches of rain, and that was just from today. But I'll back this up all the way to Thursday, where we were really seeing those intense rain events, and look at the totals. It's wild. We're talking areas that got up to 10, even 15 inches of rainfall. This is all radar estimated, but we're off the chart as far as my key goes, up to 8 inches. So we even saw more than that in some spots. And most of us did hit that red, purple, pink color, which is 6, 7, 8 inches total. And think about a lot of that coming down within less than 24 hours. So that's what the big concern has been and why we're seeing so much flooding. Now, I mentioned that we're going to kind of touch on the different rivers and why there's some flood warnings in place for them right now. It's because some of them are about to go up. So this is the San Gabriel River at Georgetown in South Fork. They are predicting that it's actually going to go up to minor flood stage levels as we head into tomorrow. It should slowly go down, but obviously that's a concern. Also, San Saba River at San Saba, it was up at major flood stage levels. Now at this point it has gone down. We're back in a good spot. But from the rain today, they're expecting it to continue to increase back into minor flood stage levels and then eventually go back down. Guadalupe River at Hunt, that was another one that was highlighted, also expected now to start to go back up, actually getting close to moderate flood stage levels. And then the Colorado River near Smithville, which is kind of southeast of us, also expected to head up a bit and then eventually drop down. So we're still dealing with flooding concerns in different rivers. And again, we could unfortunately see more of it. Now for tonight, it does look like once we get those storms out of here, things should stay very quiet overnight. We're talking just cloud coverage, but tomorrow rainfall chances return. It's on the lower side, 20 to 30%, but still right now we really just don't want to be seeing rain at all. Now, for timing wise, it does look like it could happen actually throughout the day, not consistently. You might just see an isolated shower, isolated storm. It'll be quiet as we go back into those overnight hours, but we're not done. Tuesday, Wednesday also has a small chance for rainfall, and then it looks like finally on Thursday, we're going to start to see more sunshine and things are going to start to get a bit drier. So how much rain is left with this whole system? Well, for tonight, small amounts, but as I go all the way towards Thursday, when things start to get quieter, some of us could end up still seeing another inch of rainfall. I mentioned we really just don't want to see it at all at this point. You've got a couple more days where we're probably going to be talking about it a lot, and then hopefully by the end of the week, we're going to continue to get drier, and hopefully we'll start to see some improvement.
The fast-moving water on the San Gabriel River wrecked an RV park downstream in Georgetown yesterday.
Fox 7's Cliff Thornton has more from the Shady River RV Park.
A day of assessment and a day of recovery for folks here with RVs at the Shady River RV Resort in Georgetown. Some are here for the 4th of July weekend. Others were making their home here along the banks of the San Gabriel. Let's take a look at some video from Saturday morning. You can see what this place looked like. RVs and vehicles submerged in roughly 30 feet of water as water rushed from upstream, where the San Gabriel got upwards of 15 inches of rain in western Williamson County. This time Saturday morning, where we're standing, this was actually underwater. Some of the folks got their RVs out beforehand, but most didn't, as there are upwards of 100 RVs in the park right now. Now, fast forward to Sunday, and what's left is eye-popping wreckage from the RVs being tossed about by water. We spoke with an RV owner from Houston who was here for the 4th. He lost his RV and his truck. And locals coming out to help, including a local tow truck company owner based in Florence, Billy Ayers, and his crew down here flipping RVs and vehicles back upright. They're doing this all for free. Ayers grew up in the area and has spent a lot of time at this RV park, but this is his first time to be on the recovery side of things.
All the ones that you see that are stood up here, I've already flipped all those back over, and I'm just working my way down. There was cars earlier, I don't know if you got to see them, that were flipped over on the road. I've already flipped them back over and hauled them out, and doing this all free of charge and just helping out the community as much as I can. I called in several buddies and wife and brother and parents, and we're all just down here doing what we can. Devastating. This is everybody's house. I'm helping people get heart prescriptions and try to salvage it, whatever could possibly be left.
4th of July weekend, had my trailer here. We woke up to the fire department banging on the door at 7:37 in the morning, yesterday morning, telling us there was a wall of water coming this way. By the time we got some of the stuff out and into the vehicles, the water started coming up to the bottom of the trailers, and we were able to get out with some stuff and their vehicles. I couldn't find the keys to my truck, so it was left, and my truck is down there, got completely submerged. You couldn't even see it. And the trailer's torn in pieces back here somewhere. We're trying to locate what is left of it to see if we can salvage anything.
Well, as you can tell, the recovery efforts here at the RV park were met with more heavy rain on Sunday evening. But hopefully the process will pick up as far as clearing out the RV park with these now totaled RVs as the week goes along, as we'll get into a time in which we'll have higher temperatures and clearer skies. Back to you.
And Central Texas is certainly no stranger to devastating floods. This is video from nearly 38 years ago. On the morning of July 17, 1987, a wave of water from heavy rain upstream began surging down through Kerrville and eventually to the town of Comfort. A church camp there began evacuating campers by bus. 39 teenagers and 4 adults were swept away. 10 of the teenagers drowned. Many of the others were clinging to trees and piles of debris when they were rescued.
You've been watching coverage of the deadly and destructive flooding across Texas.
We will have much more coverage on the flooding next on the Fox 7 Austin News at 9 and on your local news with Fox 4 in Dallas and Fox 26 in Houston.
On your side, this is Fox 7 Austin News at 9.
Tonight on Fox 7 Austin News at 9, Governor Abbott declared.
On your side, this is Fox 7 Austin News at 9.
Tonight on Fox 7 Austin News at 9, Governor Abbott declared today as a day of prayer following the floods across central Texas. Tonight, we take a closer look at recovery efforts in the area. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Mike Warren.
And I'm Dennis Della Pena. Williamson County and Travis County have been added to the declaration of disaster that Governor Abbott signed on Friday.
Fox 7 Austin's Katie Pratt is joining us live with an update tonight. Katie.
Hey guys, yeah, we're still out here in Leander in the same neighborhood along the Big Sandy Creek. I'm actually joined now by Kendra Jones. She's lived here for about 6 years and was actually home whenever all of this flooding came in. So kind of tell me, you were showing me videos earlier, kind of tell me about how you came to find out that everything was flooding and about all of that.
I was really lucky because a neighbor called me at just before 3 a.m. and let me know that there was water. And I thought, it's not a big deal. You know, I've lived here a while. And then when I opened our back door to look, I could see pretty much a raging river running through my backyard where there should not have been any water. And it was a very sobering experience. And we came to the bridge to see if we could even get out. And when we got to the bridge over here, there was cars floating across the road, and we knew we couldn't get out like that. So then we went back and gathered up our family and went to the top of the hill where the water tower is, because that's the highest point that we could think of, because without the bridge, there is no way in or out from this area. So we waited at the top of the hill, and periodically we would go down to see if it had receded some. And once it receded enough, there was 16 of us up there. We did a head count to see how many, that way in case authorities needed to know how many people were up there. So at I guess about an hour or two, we were up there, and then we all went back to our homes to see what had happened. We got off really lucky because we have a pier and beam, but two of my neighbors, they flooded, and then at the end of the street, 2 or 3 of the houses that were there floated across the street. So they lost everything. And the street behind me is worse because they got hit much worse.
Yeah, and a lot of people have been out here back and forth with water and donations, and y'all were saying that you got electricity back pretty quickly, but it's the water. People haven't showered for days out here.
Correct. Today, we put out, when it started raining today, we put out buckets so that we could at least collect rainwater, and we could wash our hands with it, and we could flush the toilets with it. But the main line to the water it's gone after the storm and after the flooding. So there is no water, and I would say that's, for me personally, that would be the biggest issue. But I'm very, very, very lucky in that I did not really have much damage.
Yeah, well, thank you so much, Kendra. I appreciate it. And yeah, there's a lot of people out here right now going through similar circumstances, and we're going to continue to follow this story and keep you guys updated. But for now, I'm reporting live in Leander. Katie Pratt, Fox 7 Austin News.
Thank you, Katie. Fox 7 spoke with several people who've been helping neighbors get to safety from the flooding near the San Gabriel River in Georgetown. Fox 7 Austin's Cliff Thornton has more on their efforts.
A day of assessment and a day of recovery for folks here with RVs at the Shady River RV Resort in Georgetown. Some are here for the 4th of July weekend. Others were making their home here along the banks of the San Gabriel. Let's take a look at some video from Saturday morning, and you can see what this place looked like. RVs and vehicles submerged in roughly 30 feet of water as water rushed from upstream, where the San Gabriel got upwards of 15 inches of rain in western Williamson County. This time Saturday morning, where we're standing, this was actually underwater. Some of the folks got their RVs out beforehand, but most didn't, as there are upwards of 100 RVs in the park right now. Now, fast forward to Sunday, And what's left is eye-popping wreckage from the RVs being tossed about by water. We spoke with an RV owner from Houston who was here for the 4th. He lost his RV and his truck. And locals coming out to help, including a local tow truck company owner based in Florence, Billy Ayers and his crew, down here flipping RVs and vehicles back upright. They're doing this all for free. Ayers grew up in the area and has spent a lot of time at this RV park, but this is his first time to be on the recovery side of things.
All the ones that you see that are stood up here, I've already flipped all those back over, and I'm just working my way down. There was cars earlier, I don't know if you got to see them, that were flipped over on the road. I've already flipped them back over and hauled them out. I'm doing this all free of charge and just helping out the community as much as I can. I called in several buddies and wife and brother and parents, and we're all just down here doing what we can. Devastating. This is everybody's house. I'm helping people get heart prescriptions and just try to salvage it. Whatever could possibly be left.
4th of July weekend, had my trailer here. We woke up to the fire department banging on the door at 7:37 in the morning, yesterday morning, telling us there was a wall of water coming this way. By the time we got some of the stuff out and into the vehicles, the water started coming up to the bottom of the trailers, and we were able to get out with some stuff and their vehicles. I couldn't find the keys to my truck, so it was left, and my truck is down there. It got completely submerged. You couldn't even see it. And the trailer's torn in pieces back here somewhere. We're trying to locate what is left of it to see if we can salvage anything.
Well, as you can tell, the recovery efforts here at the RV park were met with more heavy rain on Sunday evening, but hopefully the process will pick up as far as clearing out the RV park with these now totaled RVs as the week goes along, as we'll get into a time in which we'll have higher temperatures and clearer skies. Back to you.
Right, Cliff Thornton, thank you. In Georgetown, the floodwater doesn't creep, it crashes. From this vantage point, you can see the San Gabriel River has lost all restraint, ripping through brush and racing across roads. Debris swirling in the flow, and what was once a recreational spot is now unrecognizable.
As to the rain tonight, Fox 7 Chief Meteorologist Scott Fisher has been tracking that. Scott.
Hey, Mike, it has diminished for sure. There are still some downpours out there, and there may be yet a few more showers as we get into the overnight, but the trend is certainly somewhat drier. Here's Max Storm Radar, and it just keeps on going. We're trying to shake off these showers and storms. At the moment, I don't have any thunderstorms. I don't have any strong storms, but I've got a little bit of rain in Bastrop County. I've got a little in Hayes County, as well as down toward Caldwell County, although that's sort of sliding away. The ugliest map we've been showing you over and over, I had to redo the color palette here to accurately estimate how much rain may have fallen in parts of Burnett and Mason and Kerr counties, and it certainly looks like it's 10 to 15 plus, and we have rain gauges in Burnett County which are showing more than 15 inches of rain throughout this storm. Now, I still have a warning up, but this is just barely out of our area. It's Comal County, it's Guadalupe County, and it is Bexar County down towards San Antonio, and that goes until 11:30. That's a flash flood warning. The watches stay up until 10 o'clock tonight, so there's a chance they extend these. It's not likely, but the reason to continue issuing any of these watches or warnings more for downstream water rather than new water, new rain falling. And obviously the creeks and the rivers and the streams are going to be running high for days. Much more coming up, including future radar, in just a couple of minutes.
Thanks, Fish. We have some images from Leander showing the flooding that closed city parks and trails yesterday. Parks have been closed until further notice for safety. Some of the places still experiencing flooding, including Lakewood Park, Divine Lake Park, and Horizon Lake Park. Saturated ground and high water has made trees unstable. There's a high risk of falling limbs or entire trees falling over. Leander will reopen the parks as soon as they say it's safe to do so.
The Lower Colorado River Authority is advising everyone to stay off the Highland Lakes for the next several days. This includes Lake Buchanan, Inks, LBJ, Marble Falls, and Travis. There's a risk of flood debris, fast-moving currents, and bacteria levels that traditionally increase after a flood event. The city of Austin has also closed Lake Austin. LCRA does not have floodgate operations underway at this time, but with additional rain in the forecast, it's possible that could change at any time.
HEB is stepping up to support Central Texas communities hit by this flooding. HEB, of course, was founded in Kerrville over a century ago. In a statement, HEB expressed heartbreak over the, quote, enormous devastation and loss caused by the flooding in and around Kerrville. They add, we are grateful to local authorities, first responders, and volunteers for their tireless efforts. HEB says it's working closely with the American Red Cross, local officials, and emergency crews to meet urgent needs on the ground. The company has deployed resources and aid to several of the hardest hit areas, including San Angelo, Marble Falls, and flood-damaged parts of Kerr County. As rescue operations continue, so will HEB's response to assist. A Walmart on Junction Highway in Kerrville is functioning as a reunification center for displaced residents, so it's accessible even amid all these closures. For a full list on evacuation shelters and reunification centers, you can go to our website, fox7austin.com.
Coming up, the death toll continues to rise after flooding in Central Texas. We'll hear from a doctor of psychology about ways to best handle this tragedy. Stay with us.
Fox 7 Austin News at 9.
The death toll continues to rise after the Kerr County flooding. Now people of all ages are left to cope with the devastating reality of the situation.
A doctor of psychology at Texas Children's is giving parents advice on how to handle this tragedy.
With the parents whose children have been rescued and who have their child with them, those children will experience so many different emotions. Anger, grief, sadness, crying inconsolably. And what can the parent or the family do for them at this time? One suggestion can be to inform them that right now they are safe, and there are so many children who are still missing, and that there are adults who are working to help them and working to try to get them back. And at the same time, the child who is with you, just listening to them, listening to their reactions and to their emotions. And then providing as much of a routine for them at this time as you can. In this situation, the parent can look for support from their neighbors and from their family for everyday tasks, like, providing dinner or providing any kind of, doing any kind of chores or errands. I think that's one place to start. For the families who are still waiting to hear the news about their child, being there for them, listening, holding hands, supporting. That's the very least, that we as a community can do.
And if you're looking for more ways to help those in need, you can join Fox's support of recovery efforts following these floods. Your donation supports the Community Foundation of the Texas Hill Country's relief and rebuilding efforts. Visit go.fox/TX flood relief, or you can scan this QR code on your screen to support the Kerr County Flood Relief Fund.
Support for the victims, survivors, and rescue and recovery efforts continue to ramp up across the Lone Star State. The Dallas Cowboys are helping out with donations to the Salvation Army. The team saying in a statement, "Our hearts are heavy as we witness the devastation and loss of life caused by the floods in Kerr County and the Texas Hill Country, especially for the young girls and their families, as well as all of those lost and their loved ones."
And Houston Texans are donating $500,000 to provide support and resources to people impacted by the flooding. The McNair family writing in a statement that they are praying the missing children are reunited with their families soon. One way many people have been showing support across the state is green ribbons. People have been tying green ribbons around trees to honor those who are still missing or who have passed from these floods. Green is the color of Camp Mystic. Buildings in Dallas and Houston have also been lit up green.
There's still rain out there at the moment, and shower chances are diminishing, but they're not totally gone. We have a couple more days with scattered stuff that may be out there. Stick with me. Weather's coming up after our break.
Chief Meteorologist Scott Fisher.
At this point, there's just so much moisture in the atmosphere at multiple levels. The tiniest little spin, the tiniest pocket of cold air aloft gets showers going. And here we are at 9:20 p.m. We still have rain in parts of Bastrop County, in Hayes County. San Marcos getting a fairly decent shower at the moment. Most of the action is to the south. The coverage of rain will be diminishing. There's no doubt about that. But if we get a shower to pop at some point late tonight or early tomorrow, there's a chance that we get some heavy rain. And the 5-day storm total, I'm going to walk off here for a moment. I want to zoom this out, and I have it zoomed into Bastrop, but I want to put the computer in more of a mode to show you everything that has been happening. And I mentioned earlier I had to recalibrate the color tables to show accurately how much rain has fallen in many of these spots. And we had a cutoff at 10 inches, and I've had to raise it well past 15. And you can see Williamson, Travis, Burnett, Mason counties all registering more than 15 inches of rain on the estimates. And some of the actual rain gauges are either close to that or exceeding that. Now, if you're in our eastern counties, it really has not been a flood situation. What you need to watch out for is water moving downstream. We had 6 inches in Round Rock, 7.5 in Cedar Park, 6 in Florence, 9+ inches at the gauge in Maine, or almost 10 there, and 16.35 and probably counting as more showers are possible in Burnett proper, 7.6 in Marble Falls and 6 on the lake. Now, this is Comal County, this is Bexar County, this is Guadalupe County. There's a flood warning for you. Other spots, it expires at 10 o'clock tonight. Now, the Weather Service has been pushing and pushing this, so there's a chance they extend it, but I'm not expecting that. You could see how there's still a twist in the atmosphere, but it appears to be moving away from us. Doesn't mean we're out of it, and it certainly doesn't mean we're done with the flood possibility. San Saba River, there'll be another minor crest, not a flood situation. The San Gabriel at Georgetown is expected to rise into minor flood station, minor flood category, but then fall. The Colorado at Bastrop has not crested. That's still to come. And the Colorado near Smithville also will crest sometime early tomorrow. Cloudy skies and diminishing showers tonight. Cloud-sun mix tomorrow with a spotty shower. Here's the 7-day. And as I mentioned, a couple more chances with rain, but drier times are ahead. We'll be right back.
your side. You're watching Fox 7 Austin News.
Two best friends from Highland Park are among those who were lost in the flood in Kerrville.
A vigil was held at Highland Park United Methodist Church today. Here's the latest.
North Texans are exchanging tearful hugs today as many families are going through a parent's worst nightmare, losing a child. At Bradfield Elementary, families gathered to mourn the girls at the Christian Camp Mystic who were killed by floodwater. The vigil spread across the metro. Highland Park United Methodists welcome people in for prayers. The church confirms several of the campers are members of the congregation and Highland Park community. There are heavy hearts at St. Rita Catholic School, where the school confirms 2 students, Blair and Brooke Harbor, are among the girls who died. As families wait for more information about their missing children, organizations in North Texas are heading to help comfort those displaced.
So all of this stuff comes out. We set up a field kitchen with this, plug in a smoker, and we're able to put 2,000 to 3,000 meals out a day.
Chris Huggins and the volunteer team at Operation Barbecue Relief are loading up trucks filled with thousands of meals. The Wiley-based group provides meals to first responders and victims, and they're prepared to stay in Central Texas as long as they're needed.
We already have a team on site, a local team on site that has put out 300 meals yesterday, and they're doing 1,000 meals today. They'll do another 1,000 tomorrow, and then on Monday we'll ramp up to 2,000.
Huggins knows there's nothing he could do or say to make the tragic situation any easier, but he's hoping to bring Kerrville a little relief in the best way he can.
You know, to give them a little bit of hope, to give them a little bit of comfort. We believe that barbecue can heal. We can't come out, we can't rebuild your house, but we're pit masters, we're cooks. We can cook you a plate of barbecue and bring you a little bit of comfort, if not for 5 minutes, while you sit down and have that pulled pork sandwich or that barbecue plate.
Fox 7 Austin weather with Chief Meteorologist Scott Fisher.
It has been raining and storming across the area much of today as well, and obviously we know what's happened the last 3.5 days. One way we can watch the storms either increasing or diminishing the lightning tracker. And as you can see, there is no lightning out there, even as we do have a couple little light showers in both Bastrop and Caldwell County and Hayes County. But these are very, very small and coming to an end. We're hoping we can get through the night with very minimal redevelopment. 77 and cloudy, but no rain at the moment on the Pella of Austin skyline camera. The overall motion of these storms, it's very interesting because you see these sort of puffing up toward the Dallas area, and then all of a sudden they start to move back to the south. There's still a lot of vorticity or spin in the atmosphere, and that is going to continue for another couple of days. The main low that developed with the remnants of our tropical storm, that is really gone. It's just other spins, other pieces of energy that have been rotating around it that sort of have no direction. They have no push in the upper atmosphere to move. Now, the LCRA has ended their floodgate operations. There's no operation at Buchanan. There's nothing going on at Starkey or at Mansfield or at Tom Miller. They are passing water through Inks Dam and Wirtz Dam, and that's being used to, I'm sorry, at Wirtz and Starkey. Inks has no floodgates and no hydro. There's hydroelectric power being generated at Wirtz and hydroelectric power being generated at Starkey. Lake Travis is up to 65% full since the first of the month. That's 19 feet and still rising, probably going to go another 3 or 4 feet. Lake Buchanan is 77% of capacity. That's up 8 feet since the first of the month and probably going to go up another 2 or 3. All of this focused on not seeing more rain. Now, I do want to bring up the future cloud and radar. This is midnight tonight. There's not much going on. There could be a couple of smaller showers. None of these look to be heavy rain producers. We get into the day tomorrow, it's the same thing. A couple of smaller showers. We get into Tuesday, and there's going to be a push coming in from the southeast. Now, this area has not seen the same rain that anybody else has, but there's still a lot of downstream water to come, so any new water is not going to be good. Diminishing showers, 74 tonight. Cloud-sun mix with a spotty shower tomorrow. Rain chances are running fairly low, but you may get a few of these showers before we dry it out toward the end of the work week.
Thank you, Fish. Dozens of families have been wondering if they'll find their loved ones near Kerrville.
Fox's Anthony Antoine joining us live in Kerr County with the latest there. Anthony.
Yeah, good evening, guys. You know, here we learned today that 68 lives have been lost, 40 adults and 28 kids. And I'm here alongside the Guadalupe River, and it's dark at night, yes, but you can still see some of the destruction there behind me. And you can see that up and down the river all day. We've heard choppers going back and forth, looking and hoping to find anyone out there that is still clinging to life. That's a big part of the story, yes, but there's another part of the story that's developing here in Kerrville that it's important for all of us to see. Yeah, good evening, guys. You know, as a reporter, when you get to a scene and you're able to immerse yourself in what's happening, it really starts to hit home and you feel the heartbreak with these families. So right now, I'm on a piece of private property, but it's connected to Flat Rock Park. And just look at the devastation here. The neighbors in the area tell me that the Guadalupe River came all the way up here. As I am walking, they're telling me this was water. And as you sit down and you really start to imagine what the fear must have felt like for those young girls and all of those parents that lost their lives, you really start to connect with the entire story, right? Today we learned that 68 lives were lost here, specifically in Kerrville, 40 adults and 28 children. It's a heartbreaking scenario, but we've also seen the community start to come together and rally around each other to try to help their neighbor. We've seen at least 2 or 3 drives just walking around. We were just driving down the street, and we're seeing people just abruptly stopping and, hey, what can I do to help? And that's the story of it all. So again, think about this for a second here. That's the Guadalupe River. All of this area continued to fill up with water. And I spoke to a neighbor who lives right across the street here, as he says the water came from all the way over there crossed the street here, and it came all the way up to his property. Just imagine the water going all the way up to his doorstep. And that is what people witnessed here, a historic situation. Sadly, again, right now the death toll, 68 lives. We're expecting another press conference tomorrow morning at 10 a.m., but the devastation in this community cannot be understated. I'll send it back to you guys in studio.
Rescuers are racing against time as they try to work to find survivors in Central Texas, where those fierce floods devastated some communities. The flash floods have killed at least 70 people, and dozens are still missing.
Locals are going into recovery mode, but the state's governor, Greg Abbott, is warning of additional rain and potentially more life-threatening floods. Fox's Eben Brown has more.
Dozens are still missing across central Texas following catastrophic floods that tore through parts of the region. At the center of the devastation is Camp Mystic near the Guadalupe River, where several girls remain unaccounted for. One survivor tells her experience on Friday when fast-moving waters rushed into the cabins near her.
I put on my name tag because I was scared that if water was coming out next to our other cabins, that our cabin might be next. In my head, I was saying, if something does happen and I do get swept away, at least I'll have my name on my body.
Locals in the Texas Hill Country sift through debris trying to salvage what they can from their flood-ravaged homes on Saturday.
This is the highest anybody that we know has ever witnessed the water in this valley.
In the flood's wake, mud-filled houses, overturned cars, and broken trees are left. Some residents say they never would have expected what was coming.
It was pitch black, but hearing people scream, kids screaming, asking for help.
But locals are trying to look ahead to recovery efforts as they face devastating losses.
What now? I lost my only revenue I have. employees they need a paycheck. They need to work to get a paycheck.
Major donations are pouring into Texas from celebrities and corporations. The Dallas Cowboys and Houston Texans united with the NFL Foundation to send $1.5 million to communities affected by the flood. Eben Brown, Fox News.
Coming up, Colin Allred is attempting again to challenge for the Senate. After the break, we're going to hear from the two-time candidate about what he hopes to do different this time round. Texas, the issue is coming up next on Fox 7 Austin News at 9.
across Texas. The issue is...
I'm Stephen Dial in Dallas.
I'm Rudy Koski in Austin.
And I'm Greg Grugan in Houston, and this is Texas, the issue is.
Former Dallas Congressman Colin Allred says that he's running for U.S. Senate again. I sat down with him to talk about what is different this go-round. Former Congressman Colin Allred, let's just get straight to it. Why are you running for Senate again?
Well, thanks for having me on. Listen, I spent the last 6 months with my family, just like everyone else, watching what was going on and watching some of the promises that were made in the last election about being focused on lowering folks' costs, of being focused on affordability, being broken. And I just think that everything's backwards right now. Folks who are working harder and harder for less, folks who are cutting corners and cutting deals are getting ahead.
When you ran against Ted Cruz, you kind of gave some kudos to Senator Cornyn. Now you're hoping to challenge him in the general election. What changed?
Well, let's just look at the bill that's working its way through Congress right now that I called on Senator Cornyn to oppose because of what it was going to do to raise costs for Texans and kick Texans off their health care. I would say that he has changed and that he is what I see him and Ken Paxton are folks who are either too weak or too corrupt to stand up for us and to fight for us. And so this bill that's working its way through, Texans should know, is going to raise their energy costs by $800 a year. It's going to kick 1 million Texans off their health care. We have the highest uninsured rate in the country. It's going to make it harder for rural health care, and it's going to do that all so they can cut taxes for the rich. That's not what we need right now.
Do you regret anything from last year that you said, hey, I should have taken a different approach?
Well, listen, I'm a football player, so, after losses, sometimes we learn more. And you take what you know worked, and you take what didn't work, and you try and make some changes. But this is a different time, and this is not going to be about the past. It's going to be about the future. And I want to talk to Texans and show them, not tell them, how I'm going to be laser focused on lowering their costs, making it easier for them to get ahead. That if you're working hard and you're playing by the rules, that you should be able to chase your version of the American dream. And there are some very real barriers in the way of that I know how to remove and have plans that I'm going to be talking about over the course of this campaign to make sure Texans know that we can actually do it together.
What would be your message to people who supported you or did not support you last year and saw that 9-point gap of your deficit? What would you say to them to still have trust in you this go around?
I'm proud of some of the things that we did, winning Tarrant County, winning some of the purple counties around the state, outperforming the top of our ticket significantly, but actually by the most votes of any Senate campaign in the country. But I recognize that the last election is the last election, and it's time to move on. There were a lot of promises made, though, in that election about being focused on lowering folks' costs, about that they're going to actually address inflation, cost of housing. And those promises have not been met. In fact, they've gone the opposite way. They've been raising costs for folks. And this bill, when it goes through, and I expect that it will quite soon, is going to be the exact opposite of what we need. It's going to raise costs for working Texans. Folks who work paycheck to paycheck are actually going to get less benefits, of course, out of this, both through healthcare, and they're going to be paying more. And it's all going to be to give tax cuts to the rich. That's not what we need right now. And so we have to have a senator who will fight for us, who will stand up and say there are some things that we can agree on, but some things we have to fight for. And that's what I'll do.
To get to a general election, you first have to win your primary nomination, win the party's nomination in the primary. That's what O'Rourke is exploring, jumping in this race. What do you think will set you apart from him or anyone else who gets in the race?
I always have run for office unconcerned, I guess you could say, about the primary and things like that, because to me, I'm always going to say what I believe, and I'm going to campaign in the primary the same way that I do in the general election. You go back to 2018, I had a really robust primary, and that election just to get into Congress, had one in my last Senate election as well. I understand that's part of the process. Sometimes that's part of democracy, but I'm certainly not going to change, and I haven't changed in terms of when I'm talking to Texans, my message is going to be the same, regardless of whether it's a primary or not.
Now, I am sure Rudy and Greg have a lot to say, but right now we're just going to do one word. My one word is uncertainty. Rudy, what's your one word?
All right, I was thinking about going with a 2-word hyphen, broken record, but I'll respect what you just said there, Stephen, and I'm going to borrow a word from the former congressman, and that word is backward.
All right, Greg, what's your one word?
Stephen, my word is gamble.
All right, the Fox Texas Trio will be back after this break. All right, the Fox Texas Trio is back. Rudy Koski, I know you got a lot to say. Are you shocked that Colin Allred is running for U.S. Senate again?
Shocked. Shocked. No. Allred's a reflection of the problem that Democrats have in Texas. They just don't have a bench. Most long-serving incumbent Democrats from safe blue districts here in Texas, you know, they continue to sit out those statewide races, not willing to risk their comfy seats and their big paychecks. The best up-and-coming name right now seems to be State Representative James Tallarico from Round Rock. But like State Senator Roland Gutierrez, who lost big to Allred in the primary in the previous attempt to unseat Ted Cruz, Tallarico is not known statewide. And like Gutierrez, Tallarico is also somewhat of a one-issue politician, mostly known for his fight against school choice. So, putting Allred back into the game, really no surprise. But like my word for the interview, Allred is certainly a step backward for the party. And so is his message, quite frankly. The cost of living pitch, come on, that's a Hail Mary distraction. Counting on voters to forget about the inflation that spiked during the Biden administration, and we're still feeling those effects. And you know, gas prices are down. Those are down. That's a big thing that's happened under the new administration. You know, Allred's game plan may not stick against a possible GOP nominee like Ken Paxton, so it certainly is a risk to go backwards, in my opinion, Stephen.
Greg Grugan, is there something different this year? I mean, President Biden, is not on the ticket this go around. Is that a big difference for Allred?
Stephen, my word was gamble for good reason. Allred is gambling the Trump economy over the next 18 months will tank into recession and not roar with a growth spurt. Allred is gambling that his losing campaign against Cruz lifted his statewide ID in a positive way. Allred is gambling that if O'Rourke gets in the race, big donors will choose him instead of a guy who's gotten far closer to winning statewide, is a charismatic campaigner with a lock on the dominant left. And he's also gambling that character challenge Ken Paxton prevails over John Cornyn in the Republican primary, an outcome which could be derailed if the president endorses the incumbent as more electable. Stephen, that's a lot of gambles, and Allred will have to run the table. He also didn't mention the word border in his interview with you. I found that interesting.
Yeah, Rudy, Allred did mention Paxton and Cornyn, but first he would have to survive a primary that could include Beto O'Rourke. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I kind of agree with Greg, but, you know, let's face it, O'Rourke is a bigger retread to a worn-out political tire than Allred is. You know, there is some media buzz about Beto's so-called close run against Ted Cruz, but there is little talk about how he followed that up with a failed bid to unseat Governor Greg Abbott. Beto 2.0 blew up like that fireworks factory over in California a few days ago. Woo-hoo, what a show that was. It reminded me of Beto's failed attempt against Abbott. And Beto 3.0 may be the same kind of flash. You know, I'm also waiting right now to see some new polling numbers, and here's the big thought on that. That could provide some insight on this big swing to socialism that young Democrat voters seem to be embracing right now, especially in New York. That could be a factor in the Texas primary, the Democrat primary. So who would benefit from something like that? A big switch to the left? Well, Tallarico isn't a hard left kind of guy, but someone like, and here we go, guys, Greg Casar, Jasmine Crockett, are they the dark horse candidates for a spring surprise?
Greg, your thoughts?
For sure. Look, we've all covered Allred and O'Rourke in their previous races. Beto has drawn record-busting outside money. He's a ferocious campaigner who speaks Spanish and loves the retail component of the fight, taking selfies with literally tens of thousands of voters, and he's spent years building relationships inside the Democratic Party. I'm not saying Allred can't beat him. I'm just saying it will be a much tougher road to hoe than Roland Gutierrez.
That's all the time we have to see this episode and any of our past ones. Go to our station's YouTube channels.
You know, if you want to, you can keep this conversation going. I don't know why you want to, but you can keep it going on our social media sites.
And when it comes to hot political topics, the well never runs dry in the Lone Star State, so we'll be back next week to work them over. In the meantime, don't forget to let us know what you think the issue is.